all these social media apps potentially may be in trouble with the newest, latest, and greatest, theoretically, being Threads or Facebook or Meta, Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know what you want to call it anymore. Threads, obviously, is off to a good start, which, you know, a big boost, a big spurt, only to now be facing some potential trouble.
Mm-hmm.
What you got there?
So this is from zdnet.com. It says Threads is losing active and engaged users. I think I know why. It says here, after Threads' historical launch, reports show that people are using the app less. I wonder why they called it a historical launch. Like, who decided that was an historical launch? Couldn't Twitter say the same thing?
But technically, anything that happens...
It's first time?
No, that has happened becomes history.
That's true. Okay. So this article says, almost 2 weeks after Meta's Twitter competitor Threads launched, new reports show that the app has lost some of its popularity despite garnering 100 million downloads in its first 5 days. It only took 2 weeks for it to lose popularity. Huh.
The attention span of our society is very, very short.
Yes. Says here, CNBC reported that Anthony Bartolacci, how do you say that? Do you know?
Doesn't matter.
Anthony B.
It's like all these names of people, not that I'm saying that they don't matter, but some of the names of these people and these adjectives and adverbs that these writers choose to use is like, you cannot, like...
No, it's not, whatever. So we'll go with Anthony B., managing director at Sensor Tower, a company that provides app installs, data, and insights, said that Threads' launch was truly in a class by itself. But since the hype died down, Threads saw a 20% decrease in active users and a 50% decrease in time spent on the app. Says Bartolacci. What's his first name? Anthony B. Anthony B. said that although Threads has the resources from Instagram and Meta to pull off a record-breaking launch, the affiliation alone isn't enough to keep users around. Right after Threads' launch, Twitter saw about a 5% decrease in traffic, according to CNBC's reporting. Now, Threads isn't the only Twitter alternative to gain and lose traction. Mastodon, a decentralized Twitter alternative, saw millions of signups immediately after Elon Musk purchased Twitter. But since late last year, Mastodon has failed to keep users' interest.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Can you see my face every time I say that name?
I didn't like the name Threads, and I definitely don't like the name Mastodon.
And I immediately want to go watch Jurassic Park.
And that is probably why they've lost steam. Because it doesn't really roll off the tongue.
It really doesn't.
Did you see what Homeboy posted on Mastodon? You're like...
I don't know what kind of site that is, but I don't think I want to see what Homeboy put on Mastodon.
It's probably a word that's automatically triggered in like
held for review
company
stuff.
Firewalls. Like, no, you can't visit Mastodon.
Anything that starts with mast, we got to stay away from. Let's see here. Blue Sky, another decentralized Twitter alternative backed by Twitter's co-founder Jack Dorsey, has also piked some interest but doesn't have the computing power to accommodate millions of users. Plus, invites are hard to come by. It says, although Instagram has marketed Threads as an alternative to Twitter, it's really not. Twitter has long been known as a digital town square. It was the only social media app where lay people could access and be noticed by politicians or public figures, as well as keep up with news in real time. My ears are all stuffy now. But Adam Mosseri, or Adam M., head of Instagram and Threads, has said on many occasions that Threads has no plan to bolster news and political content. Its guidelines also enforce strict adherence to rules that stifle the explicit dark humor that most dedicated Twitter users enjoy. So basically what they want Threads to be is fluffy Kardashian-style social media that makes a lot of people want to vomit at this point in time.
It probably is going to be more of a curated,
everything's pretty
aligned platform for spreading information and sharing the truth, so long as it is exactly what they want you to share.
And it's pretty and wrapped up with a nice little bow on it and has no twist to it.
Or no links to anywhere that they don't want you to go or anything like that.
Additionally, users have complained that Threads' algorithm turns them off from using the app. Users can't customize their feed and can only peruse content from random accounts they don't follow. Even worse, there's no way to change this issue with the app. So
I'd be willing to bet I have an idea of what random accounts they are.
Whichever one's paid. No? Okay.
I'd say the accounts that I'll call them colorful.
Okay.
I'll call them colorful
Okay.
accounts.
That makes sense too. Threads' algorithm shows users a mix of content from people they follow and from people they don't to keep their users engaged with the app. But for some reason, the algorithm may be having the opposite effect. Because everyone hopped on Threads at once with no real understanding of the app, there wasn't a lot of content to interact with. Users were left to read threads from corporations that all had the same message. So, what do we do here? It just wasn't fun. However, it seems that the more one uses Threads, the more the algorithm learns them and improves their Threads experience by displaying more relative content. Kind of like TikTok, the FYP, for your page. They see what you like or what you've hearted or what you whatever, and then it shows you constantly content along those lines.
TikTok.
Because of that, right? You don't get to see anything outside of what you always see.
But that's the thing. When I first opened TikTok, it chose what to show me.
Yeah.
And I don't like what it chose to show me.
Yeah.
Therefore, and then it's like hard for me to get away from it. So it's like, it's only really showing me what it wants me to see. What's
interesting is there was probably a 2-week time period where any female that got on TikTok was shown all kinds of female to female content, and most of the comments in there were going, I didn't know I needed to see this, or I didn't want to see this, or what is happening here, like, because it would always be like Ruby Rose, that's her name, right? Ruby Rose from John Wick, the short-haired girl who fights him. It was always posted by somebody who looked like her, who she happens to be a lesbian. It was posted, looked like her doing some overtly sexual thing, and it seemed it was showing it only to female TikTok people, and half the comments were going, how did I get here? What algorithm decided this is where I needed to be? It was really interesting when it was happening.
I will say that in comparison, and this is a strategy, a technique used by many professionals on YouTube, and it's to sign into YouTube like as nobody and see what happens.
Yeah.
And YouTube's homepage, browse page, they don't do that.
No.
They don't do that.
No.
But carry on.
Anyway, it says here, but keeping people around is a challenge. Threads is getting a taste of. People like me have written the app off. This is according to the author. Have written the app off, but might come back around the next time something goes horribly wrong at Twitter. Hopefully by then, improved app functionality and promised features will be available and make Threads more enjoyable.
Perhaps, maybe. But I will say that I do have a preference. I have a bias, but what do you got?
This next title just says Threads mirrors Twitter with new rate limits as spam bots swarm the site. I mean, they're everywhere. It doesn't matter what social media it is.
You would think that if you're going to have this historic launch and you're going to mimic others, that you would come out the gate strong and automatically have all these problems solved. Not to only experience the same problems other platforms experienced before that people didn't like.
Now, this may be an issue. I'm just going to read this quote from Adam M., the head of Instagram. He said, spam attacks, explaining on Thread, spam attacks have picked up, so we're going to have to get tighter on things like rate limits, which is going to mean more unintentionally limiting active people. And in parentheses, it says false positives. If you get caught up in those protections, let us know. Maybe that's what's happening to so many content creators on YouTube right now.
No.
You and I would get a ton of spam comments, and the more we report, maybe that's an issue.
No, it's not.
Okay.
And we've already discussed what YouTube is doing. We talked about it just a few minutes ago.
Okay.
Now, YouTube, in my opinion, I have a bias. I have a preference, but I think it's warranted because YouTube is a great platform, really.
I agree.
Especially if you want to connect and make money. Plain and simple. Now, TikTok could potentially do the same with the reach and the virality, possibly.
But I don't think you get the same sort of connection with your viewers and your audience.
Exactly. And then the odds that they are going to check your description and click links on TikTok, not going to happen.
No.
Not going to happen. So, not to mention TikTok's monetization process or payout is weak. So YouTube is what I prefer. And YouTube still continues to impress me with what they're doing, new channels that are popping up, how quickly they're getting monetized, how much money they're making. Not to mention YouTube wanting to help the creator make more money.
Because it works better for them.
Right.
You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of thing.
So you came across a notification on your YouTube studio today.
I did.
And it asked you if you would want to partake in some...
I can give you the specific words if you'd like.
Oh, you took a screenshot?
No, I don't need to because I didn't say yes or no. It just pops up every time I open it. It's on Squirrel Tribe Life and 2.0. They didn't ask me on the main one. They were like, but the smaller channels is where it's asking, which is interesting. It says, help us review whether our systems reflect unintentional bias by answering a few demographic questions about yourself. Your responses will be confidential and secure.
Do you know what that's about?
Not anonymous.
Do you know what that's about?
Oh, it's going to ask if I...
No, not what it's going to ask. Do you know what it's about?
It's probably about ensuring that the right viewers are seeing your content, but they're going to decide who the right viewers are based off of my demographic.
Honestly, based on the interactions that I've had, what I've seen, what I've read, what I've watched, they want to make sure that the creators are getting paid accurately.
And how does knowing if I am a white, female, straight, married with children have anything to do? No, but that's a demographic.
But did it say that?
It did not. It says my personal demographics.
Well, you won't know until you click it and you see what questions it asks.
Yeah, it's true.
But even still, it wants to make sure, from what I've seen and read, that depending on your geographical location and different metrics that go into your channel, you're not getting shortchanged. And I think that's a plus.
Okay.
I think that's a plus. Now,
so do I answer it on one of the channels and not the other and see what happens, see if there's a change?
You do what you want. You do
Make it like a test?
But YouTube is working to try to reduce the spam in the bots. YouTube is working to try to help smaller channels grow. YouTube is working to try and increase ways in which you can be monetized, which YouTube even lowered the threshold to 500 subscribers and 3,000 hours, I think, or less to get monetized for super chats, super thanks, and YouTube products.
But not AdSense, correct?
Okay. No,
I'm asking.
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But at the same time, they are still they could have left it alone, but no, they lowered the entry point for people to be able to monetize,
which I think is great.
They, in my opinion, they are working to try to improve. They are also trying to work to improve the impersonation policy, which I wish YouTube would say, kind of like Twitter, that name's already taken.
Yes.
That would help tremendously.
That profile picture is taken.
Which they kind of did with the handles.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So if you know your YouTube handle or the creator's channel handle that you follow and you want to engage with, but not everybody, I don't think the viewers were educated enough.
No, probably not. Maybe we should do one of those.
Handles.
Yeah. Because I get the comments all the time going, why does it say this instead of my name?
Yeah.
Because they don't know that they were given handles to help cut down on the spam.
Right. So I think that they're doing the best that they can and trying to engage with the creators and the viewers to try to improve the experience, but also continuously drive the revenues.
Yeah.
And that's a plus. Now, granted, YouTube is trying to somewhat be a little bit of everything to everybody, but they have yet to introduce anything like Threads yet, or
Shorts is the closest thing they've done by trying to.
No, I mean that's a mimic
or
of
compete with TikTok
and Reels. But as far as like this Threads, they don't have that. Granted, they could potentially introduce that in the community tab, which would probably be really, really good, because oftentimes the comments on the videos, like, there's no real chain. It's like somebody leaves a comment, maybe you reply, like, there's no real way to engage in that dialogue, really.
True.
So they've introduced the podcast, on YouTube and YouTube Music.
Which is neat.
They are rolling out these A, B, and C testing eventually of thumbnails. They got the AI title generator. I think they're trying to drive more engagement and more creativity to YouTube and their platform by actually trying to help and support the creator versus just being a gimmick and trying to challenge the competition.
Now, this is totally off topic, but I hope you guys are noticing the scenery that we are driving through through the driver's side window of Kevin's over there, and how honestly blue the sky looks and white and puffy the clouds are and green the grass is. It literally looks like something out of a Bob Ross drawing out here. Is that his name, Bob Ross?
Yeah.
Happy Little Trees. Yes, that's what it looks like out here. And the hills do this, so my ears keep stuffing up and popping, which is kind of annoying. So if you see me swallow 85,000 times, I'm trying to get my ears to pop. But it is gorgeous out here.
I'm just glad we got new tires. We're doing the speed limit, which is 80 mile an hour. We're able to hit these turns, but get where we need to go.
Yes.
And that was part of this drive this summer in this car, was to enjoy it, because I still enjoyed it last year, but going down the Pacific Coast Highway, I really wish I would have had my car.
Yeah, it was terrifying for me as a passenger, because I was one who could see over the edge of the cliff and into the rocks and water below.
I was pushing that.
I was like trying to climb into your lap from the passenger seat, because I did not. It was terrifying, gorgeous and terrifying all at once.
I was pushing that van.
Yeah, you were.
But the van actually handled pretty good.
It did.
It handles rough. The wind on the wide, like right now, the wide open on the interstate. The wind is what sucks, but at those speeds, I mean, we were doing like 40. That's as fast as you can go.
Yeah, that's true.
Over there.
Yeah.
But for anybody out there who is interested in learning more about YouTube and their algorithm and building channels and growing channels and improving your interaction and impressions and click-through rate and engagement, by all means, feel free, reach out. We do this a lot, in case you haven't noticed by now. We have multiple channels and we test a lot of different things, but as I pay attention to what's happening here and what's happening there and what's happening over there with everybody else, I still feel like YouTube is the place to be. I mean, shoot, YouTube's even got the contract for like NFL. So YouTube's got movies on it. YouTube is building and growing this ecosystem theoretically. And maybe Neil Moen might be able to pull through and really make this place great again.
It's pretty. Kids show me pictures she's taken from the back seat.
Maybe.
Maybe.
You can end it.